Hey, today we're going to be talking about some important information regarding towards the pit, the future of Fallout, PvP, and some unexpected news towards pets and companions, which is sad, but we're going to dive into all this information, and all thanks to Paste Magazines. They posted this article over on their site where they were interviewing the Bethesda employees, such as Jeff Gardner and Mark Tucker. You might be familiar with them because they were on the Reddit forums a couple of months ago, I believe it was. This was when they popped over on Reddit and discussed a few interesting details about the upcoming patch and all that, but that was then, and now we are here about the updated information about the expeditions and whatnot. So without further ado, let's cannonball ourselves into this information. The first question that was asked was basically revolving around larger servers and PvP elements. Jeff Gardner responded with that the increase in server size for these private worlds are going to be discussed actively, but there's no plans on updating this with the next release. Now, for individual worlds, these are going to stay at 8 players. For some of you, this might be some crappy information, but basically, yeah, there's not going to be any large amounts of players in servers, so if you're one of those few that like to have large servers with friends, then you're automatically out on that one. Yeah, I guess the good news is that they're actively investigating this, but what does that mean in the end? But let's continue on. Now, what about PvP exactly? Well, Bethesda says that basically this has been a goal since the beginning. They've tried to include more elements, but over time, they've just pretty much shoved it away or just left some things optional. Now, basically what Jeff has said right here, without spoiling too much, he says that they're hopefully going to give us the tools to recreate a similar experience. So I'm sure this is going to have to lean more towards private world modding or maybe just private world settings in general, but we'll find out more as the years go by. PvP is not the focus, PvE is. What does that exactly mean? Well, in this post, Mark Tucker had said that they were listening to the fans. They collect a lot of data from what their players do, from what he has said, and not only this, they actually take a good glance at what we are doing in-game and exactly what we like, so I'm guessing this is based on stats. Of course, he goes on to say that, hey, they have a fan base that is truly committed to the PvP scene. Now, even though they mentioned the love for PvP, they still do not feel confident in going in that direction, mainly because the PvE has become the main concept, the main focus. Of course, they came up with this based upon what a majority of the players are doing in-game. Next up, mods. They are definitely still on the way. They have no information to share with us, but it is definitely going towards private worlds for sure. On this next part, Mark Tucker talks about new locations and expeditions. Mark Tucker says the expeditions that we are going to be seeing here in the future are going to have interesting locations and things that we can explore and do and interact that, things that we normally could not do on the wasteland, Appalachia, aka West Virginia, stuff that we were not able to do here. We're going to be able to explore other options. With these expeditions, we're not only going to be able to visit these different locations, we're going to be able to go to these locations, experience a new story, new NPCs, and be able to explore a new area. This next part, I'm sure a lot of you are excited for, but there's not a lot of tasty information within it. Right here, Mark Tucker talks about newer factions. They plan on adding more factions to the game and to explore different faction options, but they haven't been able to explore much since this game was released, which is quite outstanding, to be honest. Well, I guess we were left alone with a bunch of robots in the beginning, and God, that was terrible. But let's go on. This next part, a lot of you might be familiar with the nerfs, specifically the unyielding. Jeff goes on to talk about these nerfs within this post, saying that they try to add in more positives than negatives when they try to fix certain things. Now, from what Jeff says, they go about doing this by pretty much trying to add positive effects to things that are weak, but in the end, Jeff says that they do take nerfing seriously, very seriously from what he says, so we can only find out exactly what is going to happen sooner or later. So there's that tasty bit of information there for the nerfs. And this next question was about raids. As far as raids goes, Jeff cannot answer anything specifically about it. Him and Mark talk about this every day from what he said within this post. The sad part about the raids is that they do not plan on adding this anytime soon. Now, I suppose there is a positive outcome here because they did say that they plan on focusing, but we gotta admit here, guys, that planning something is different from attempting it. Because you can plan all you want, but until you actually do it, that is when we see some results, and this, I don't have any high expectations towards this. There appears to be more camp slots from what Jeff Gardner has said. There's going to be a total of 5 camp slots. Now, he says that he does not know if this is going to be a spoiler or not, but he does not care. That is coming to us on update 28, which is the Still Rain update, and that is July 7th. So that's kind of cool that he threw that information in there. It's nothing huge, but it's definitely cool to know that we're going to have 5 camp slots. Up next, pets and companions is talked about. Mark Tucker talks about how these pets are going to have their own specific slots, and that they do not plan on expanding the companions anytime soon, so you will not see any extra companions there. Now, this is all due because of technical limitations. That is what Tucker had said, and this is preventing them from going down that certain path. So there's that unfortunate news there, and he even also included that it was not a great answer at all. So yeah, I don't know, guys, but in the end, we will have a pet and a companion next to each other, and that will be definitely groovy. The next question was based around the future of Fallout 76. Jeff goes on to say that he cannot share any details, but that, hey, I guess Fallout 76 is going to exist for 5 years, which I do not believe that, guys. I really do not believe that this game is going to be around for 5 years. I do see that it's going to slowly decline, but regardless, Jeff says this is definitely going to exist, and that he wants to remind people that just because him and Mark approve certain things, or, years ago, that this does not mean it'll come to fruition years later, and that it still needs to be reevaluated for themselves and obviously for Bethesda employees. The odd part, though, that kind of sounds a little strange is as we go down, he says that they do have plans next year or probably the year after, so obviously things are going to change there. And this is all based on the PTS, the private test servers. All of you find people out there that like to go through the private test servers and just do all the bug tests in there. So we kind of have an idea of what we can expect for the future. Again, I feel like it's sort of odd that he says that this game is going to be around for 5 years, and that just seems kind of odd. I just don't see this becoming a reality. It seems that it would be a smarter idea to create a new Fallout game, bring up all that hype, and take a good time, a chunk of time, producing a very well-developed game. And I think this is where they would find the most gratitude from the fans and overall the community if they were just able to take a little bit of time to sort of digest what the community has said and let it seep in really well. Now, I have a question for a lot of you, and I'm really curious, and this is not just some crap to throw out there. Would you rather see Fallout 76 last 5 more years, or just 5 years in general, or would you rather see a new Fallout title? I honestly am 100% leaning towards a new title. I'm kind of over this Fallout 76. I'm done with the letdowns, and I just want to see some new stuff, some new story, new content, and all that. But we still have till 2022 for the expeditions, so I'm going to say that's not coming anytime soon. And I'll just leave it at that. All credit towards pastemagazines.com for interviewing Jeff Gardner and Mark Tucker, and yeah, just, I don't know, guys. Holy smokes, I butchered Mark somehow. Anyways, that was Mark Tucker and Jeff Gardner. All credit to Magazine Space. Check them out down below with the article if you want to check out all the questions and what the author had asked all the way. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch these videos. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Live well. And most importantly, happy glitching. See you guys on the next one.